Hey fam, you see the hand. Go ahead, like and subscribe on the video so I can keep making more and more. What is up, everybody? It's your boy Jay back at it again for another video on Real Sports Talk. And today, as you know, everybody, I am a Cowboys fan. I like to root for the Cowboys. I like to make some Cowboys videos. And today, I've been looking at some of the drafts and I've been looking at the mock drafts, over these past couple weeks. And with the season being over, I've been seeing a lot of, who we should bring in, who we should draft, who should we draft at 10. I feel like that's been a big topic of discussion for the Dallas Cowboys. So today, I wanted to make a video basically talking about the 5 guys who I want the Dallas Cowboys to draft with the 10th pick in the draft. Without further ado, let's get into it. So kicking things off at number 5, I have Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. Now, I really like Micah Parsons. I really feel like if the Cowboys can take Micah Parsons at the 10th position, I wouldn't be mad. I would be ecstatic. I would be happy because I see the talent that he has, the raw talent. I see the ability that he has, and I see the size that he has for such a young guy. I think he's like only 20 years old, and he dominated, in the Big Ten Conference and played really good. Last time we seen Micah Parsons in the Dallas Cowboys stadium, he looked like a man possessed on a football field. So Micah Parsons would be a great option for me at the 10th position, just because of the fact that I don't believe in all that taking the off-ball linebacker at 10th position or whatever. I believe that Leighton Vander Esch gets hurt a lot, and I believe that Jalen Smith hasn't been great. And I believe that Micah Parsons, if those other 2 guys are healthy, can add to those guys and be really good. And I feel like if one of those guys are hurt or they're not playing well, can take over, especially in terms of Jalen, and fill their position and play pretty good too, or as good as they would have played or a little bit better. I think that Micah Parsons today might be a better linebacker than Jalen Smith is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that by much, because my problem with Micah Parsons is his mental. Like, mentally, he's on the same level as a Jalen Smith, which means that he's going to give you those headaches. He's going to get misdirected. He's going to not be able to diagnose. I don't want him being my middle linebacker, trying to be the guy that's, diagnosing the plays. But if he's my off-ball linebacker and he's, getting to the pass rusher by blitzing, he's, blitzing in the run game and all that stuff, I would love Micah Parsons at that. I think Micah Parsons is a guy that if you just put him in the right position, if you're drafting Micah Parsons to be a middle linebacker and diagnose plays and just be that guy in the middle like a Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly type of guy, I think that's not what you want from him, and I don't think that's how you get the best out of him, because you're going to find yourself saying, dang, this guy doesn't look that good. He can't diagnose. He getting redirected. Jalen Smith. No, I want that guy being, attacking the ball, blitzing the pass rusher, blitzing in the run, going after the running back, because I feel like when he do that, that's why he's rated so high, because he does that at a great level. You know what I'm saying? And that's why at the 10th spot, I would not be mad at drafting him, and I would really want to get him, because I know that if I put him in the right position to succeed, he can be really great. But my only hesitation would be if he's not in the right position to succeed and he's in a position where he has to be, diagnosing all that stuff, especially early on, he's going to struggle. So while he's not the guy I want the most because of his struggles, mentally, I believe physically and his athleticism and whatnot and what he can do great. If we put him in the right spot, we can have a really good Pro Bowl caliber linebacker for years to come for the Dallas Cowboys. Moving on. At number 4, we have another upside guy in Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. Now, Caleb Farley, in my opinion, he's a great corner. In my opinion, he's going to be a Pro Bowl corner, soon once he gets into the NFL. His footwork is amazing. His ball speed, getting back to the ball is amazing. His instincts is amazing. His IQ is really good for a corner. He does everything you want in a corner. He's not grabby, but he can press. He can play the zone. He can tackle. He does everything you really want from the cornerback position. And if the Cowboys were able to get a guy like that at the 10th pick in the draft, I would feel really good about my corner position. However, the reason why he's 4 and there's 3 guys I would probably want more than him is because of the fact that, in my opinion, he's not the best corner in this draft. While he's a great corner, he doesn't have that physicality that you want out of a corner in some instances when you're going up against those bigger wide receivers. And I feel like when he goes against those bigger wide receivers, I feel like that's probably where he struggles. So the Chase Claypools of the world, the big guys, maybe some Julio, DK Metcalf type of guys, he may struggle with those guys at the catch point. You know what I mean? That's one place I don't like him at, is the catch point. But other than that catch point aspect and dealing with those bigger guys, I feel like he can pretty much cover those guys as well. And I feel like he can cover anybody you want him to cover. You know what I mean? And I still feel like even though he's at my 4 spot and he's not in my 3, 2, or 1, I still feel like this will be a great pick for the Cowboys, because you're getting a corner and you compare it with Trevon Diggs, where you have 2 really good lockdown caliber corners. And I would not be mad if the Dallas Cowboys were to take Caleb Farley at the 10th position, just because of the upside, the technique that he shows off, the fact that he hasn't even been playing corner for that long. So that if he's that good at his technique and his footwork and getting back to the ball and all that stuff, and hasn't played it for a while, he's only going to get better. And we don't know, like, his upside is through the roof. Like, this guy could develop into one of the better corners we have seen in a while, probably since Jalen Ramsey came out. So I really would like to get him at that 10th spot. So I leave him at 4. At my number 3 slot, I have my corner 1, my CB1, in J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. J.C. Horn is a dog. He is one of the best press man covers I have personally seen in a while. I believe he has the potential to be up there with the names of the Jalen Ramseys, the Stephon Gilmores, once he hits his prime in the NFL. I think J.C. Horn is a guy that everybody wants to say, oh, he's corner 3, he's corner 3. No, sir, he is not. I believe that he is a better, he's better in press coverage than I believe Farley is. I believe he's more physical at the catch point than Farley is. And I believe he can handle speed better than Surtain can. So I feel like when you look at a corner, you look at the traits that he has. Yes, he gets grabby, but you can teach grabby. You can teach him over time, the more he has experience of getting out of that grabby nature. But he can cover anybody. You don't have to deal with, oh, we're going against a top receiver, so Trevon, we need you to travel him. No, because, hey, if that guy want to go to the other side of the field, J.C. Horn is over there, and J.C. Horn is just as good of a cover guy as Trevon Diggs is. So you're not going to have that worry of one guy's going to kill Trevon got to travel. If it's a guy that Trevon struggled with, I believe you can put him on the J.C. and J.C. can deal with him. So I feel like J.C. can bring you a dynamic with Trevon Diggs where you got 2 corners that are both really good. And if either one of them is struggling with one matchup, I think you can put the other guy on that player that they're struggling with, and that guy can guard him, because they're both really good press man covers corners that know how to stay with their guy, they know how to make plays on the ball, they know how to be in your face before the play and after it, and they can get after it. You get those 2 guys on the team together, that's going to be great. I know everybody wants Surtain to be on the field with Trevon because they played at Alabama, and that is cool. But Surtain is not what J.C. Horn is, and he's not the dog that J.C. Horn is. He is not the press man corner that J.C. Horn is. And he's not a guy that can deal with the speed guys like J.C. Horn can. So I would definitely love for the Cowboys to draft J.C. Horn at that 10th spot, because I believe that he will bring a crazy dynamic. He's the best corner you can have to pair up with a Trevon Diggs. Okay, getting to my number 2 spot right behind my 1, I have J.O.K., a.k.a. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame. Now, I get it. It's going to be some Parsons guys up here saying that, what do you mean? You put Parsons at 5, but you got Owusu-Koramoah at 2. Let me explain why. Because Owusu-Koramoah is a guy that, a lot of people say, well, he's small. He's a small guy. And that's cool. But guess what he also is? He's a dynamic linebacker. He's a linebacker that if you want him to cover slot receivers and tight ends, he can do it. If you want him to make plays on the ball like a safety or a corner would, he can do it. But he can also get down in the trenches, blitz at the quarterback and hit the quarterback, make him fumble. He can also get to the running back and disrupt the running back, not only in coverage, but coming through the blitz. I mean, you look at some of the games like Clemson where he's, in the backfield, destroying ETN on some of his plays, whether he's hitting ETN or it's taking the ball from him, right after ETN catches the ball and taking it home for a touchdown. This guy, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, is a dog, and I like Parsons. I really do. And I get it. Parsons is, a bigger guy. He's bigger, and that's cool. But guess what? Owusu-Koramoah can make plays that Parsons just can't make. He can guard guys that Parsons just can't guard. And I believe he's a smarter football player than Parsons is. And that's why he's at my 2 spot, because I believe the Cowboys really need linebacker. I believe that, when you look at how bad Jalen Smith played and he regressed from 2018 and his injury that you can tell sometimes hinders him, you really need more than just him and Lane Vander Esch, another guy who gets hurt at the linebacker position. Sean Lee just, I believe is going to retire, or maybe he comes back, but he's an old guy. He's more of a player coach than a player. You know what I'm saying? So you really need that third linebacker that can, when Lane Vander Esch does get hurt, or if he does get hurt again, you feel good about linebacking. You also need that guy where if Jalen Smith says, hey, I don't want a pay cut, and you have to let go of him, that can come in and probably be a better linebacker than Jalen Smith ever was, and can provide you with versatility that you have never had at the linebacker position, where you have a guy that can cover receivers consistently, cover tight ends consistently, and still be able to, get to the running back in the running game, get to the quarterback, blitzing, and make plays on the ball. I just feel like you have to take that guy if he's at the 10th spot, unless my number 1 guy is right there in front of him. You just have to take Owusu-Koramoah, because he is a playmaking evolutionary, he's a revolutionary linebacker, man. He is what the linebackers in the NFL are right now. He is what the Devin Whites are, the Darius Leonards. Those are the guys. He's the Pro Bowl guy, the All-Pro guy that you need right now. And I just feel like that's why I have him higher than Parsons, because he can do things that Parsons just can't. And he can do things that most linebackers can't. And if he's there at 10, bro, I would jump up and down and shoot firecrackers if we were to draft him at the 10th spot. Moving on. Okay, and to finish this list off at my number 1 spot, I have offensive tackle. Yes, I say offensive tackle, Rashaan Slater out of Northwestern. Now, Penei Sewell would have been on this list as my number 1 spot, but I don't think that he's going to fall to us. So I have Rashaan Slater, the 2nd rated tackle, and to some people, the number 1 rated tackle in this draft. Rashaan Slater is a guy where I really don't have to say too much about Rashaan Slater than this. He beat Chase Young. He made Chase Young look average. And I think that alone, I can end it off. You know what I'm saying? I can probably end the video off, but I'm not going to. I think Rashaan Slater is a guy who is just a great offensive tackle. You know what I mean? He has everything you want, feet, hands, everything. I mean, he got the size, you know what I mean? A big guy. You know what I'm saying? Just can block anybody. Like, you watch him against Chase Young, and he just makes Chase Young look average, man. Just the way he knows how to use his hands, just the way he knows how to use his feet, the way he was able to block. And then you watch him against those smaller guys, and his power, his finesse, everything about him, he's just a dominant offensive tackle. And I know a lot of people on this, in the comments may say, hey, we don't need tackle. Tyron Smith is coming back. But see, that's a problem. If you truly believe that we don't need tackle because your hope is that Tyron Smith comes back, you got to start waking up and living in reality. This is like saying we didn't need a linebacker back in 2016 because Sean Lee's coming back. Like, it's just not gonna, we can't rely on Tyron Smith anymore. We can't rely on him. He's been injured probably 4 out of the last 5 years, maybe 5 out of the last 5. So, and he just came off a season where he only played 2 games and was out for the whole season over a neck injury. So, why in the world, if you're the Cowboys and you have an offensive tackle at 10, would you pass up on him? Yes, I get it. You want corner, but you can either re-sign Tito Bell-Wuzier, or you can sign you a starter for around $7-8 million. That's cheap. Or you can go and draft a guy in the later rounds that can be really good. You can do both of those things, and your cornerback position will be really good because you have a really good corner, and you'll have a decent starter and some guys that's serviceable that can make big plays, but maybe don't have the big name. You know what I mean? But with the tackle, you can't really get that cheap, and it's hard to get in the later rounds. You want to get there early. And you don't know when there's going to be another Rashaan Slater or another, even if he falls, Penei Sewell in this draft. You know what I mean? Those guys are just not in the draft every single year. If you have a guy that you watch film on and he beat Chase Young, a guy that has been one of the best, hyped up, one of the best edge rushers that a lot of scouts say they have seen since Khalil Mack. You go and get that guy because you know that, hey, Tyron Smith is hurt all the time. We can't rely on that no more. We can't keep playing that game, and then when he get hurt, we suck at tackle. We can't keep playing that game. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to see Terrence Steele or a Knight out there no more. Or even, the guy that we had picked up from the Chiefs last year, Irvin. I'm not trying to see him no more. That's just stuff I just don't want to see. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys do not play that good. They may have one good game, but then we play those top pass rushers and they play really bad. Go get you a guy who can play tackle, and even if Tyron Smith does come back, can play guard and probably be a better guard than what Connor Williams has been. Because let's be honest, Connor Williams has not been this good. You know, the Cowboys have had their best years off being good on the offensive line. And some of our worst years, we haven't been good on the offensive line, like this year. You know, and I think you have to get back to having a good offensive line because that helps Zeke out, that helps your offense out, which is the best part of your team, your offense. I get it, you want to have a great defense, but for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl with this team, you're gonna have to have your offense at its best. Because if you want to go beat Kansas City or you want to go beat Tampa Bay, you're gonna have to score points. You're not going to be able to just go up in there and think, oh, well, we can just hold Tampa Bay or Kansas City to like 17. No, that's not going to happen. So you need to be able to, run the football, and you need to be able to protect your quarterback. And getting an offensive tackle does that. And you get a guy like Rashaan Slater, that can guard those top, edge rushers, like he was able to do with Chase Young in college, and I believe he's going to be able to do in the pros. You get that guy, and then you say, hey, we're covered at tackle. So now we're still going to be a good offensive line when Tyron Smith leaves. Or, if one day in a couple years when we're, Zach Martin leaves, you still going to have all Pro Bowl guys there. You know what I'm saying? So if you're the Cowboys, you have to take Rashaan Slater at 10. No matter who's on the board, you have to take him at 10 because your offensive line needs to improve. You need to reinvest in your line because that is what's going to give you the best out of your offense and get the best out of your team overall. You can get a cheap corner that plays good. You can get a good linebacker, that's cheap, that plays really good. But you cannot get a cheap tackle that's going to play really good. And it's rare that you get a third round guy that plays really good at the tackle position. Like I already said. So take Rashaan Slater. That's my number one guy. That's the guy who I would be the happiest if the Cowboys drafted, who I think would be the best move for the Cowboys for their future, for right now, because like I said, he can come in and he can play guard. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't like Connor Williams. And I really believe that Rashaan Slater, if Tyron Smith is healthy, can step in at guard and be really good at guard, like we did with Lyle Collins, play a couple years at guard, and then once Tyron says, hey, I'm really, really done, you can kick him out. He can be your full-time left tackle. And then guess what? You have a guy that can handle some of the best pass rushers in the league. I promise you. Y'all may not like this move when it first happened, but I'm telling you, that's the best move for the Cowboys because he is going to make your offensive line be dominant again. That's all I got to say about it. That's my whole opinion on the draft. Who the guys, that we, should draft. I'm going to come out with a video soon talking about the guys who I don't want to draft. Just a hint on that. It's going to be a guy that, plays corner in Alabama. And that, but that's all I got to say about it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this video. Y'all let me know what videos y'all would like me to make in the future. And that's all. Peace.